Okay, so what foundation should you be wearing? Okay, color matching aside, what type of foundation should you be looking for? The good news is most of the foundations in the Adorn range do suit most skin types. It really depends on what you put underneath your foundation and what you set it with that will give you the finish that you're after. And I'll discuss that in a moment. But if you're looking at the preference for your skin type, I'm going to go through each foundation type, including our BB cream, as to what may suit you. Now, my first tip is this. I do recommend that you have 2 foundation types in your kit, and I do recommend that you have 2 colors. So it may mean that you have, say for example, I have a light to medium in the loose minerals and I have a medium olive in the cream because I am more of a yellow based, and both of those are yellow based and they suit my skin. Now I use the cream by itself, or I use the loose minerals by itself, depending on how dark I am or how light I am. And if I'm somewhere in between, I can mix the 2 together by layering the loose minerals over the top of the cream. So there's so many different things that you can create with our foundations. It's really about having a little bit of a play and just making sure that you get the right color first. But my tip is definitely to have 2 foundation shades as well as 2 foundation types. Your skin is never the same. It's an organ, it changes. It can be dehydrated, it can be oily 1 minute, it could be dry 1 minute. I have psoriasis myself, so I understand that sometimes you need to vary what you're putting on. Okay, if you are looking at the Adorn Cream Stick, okay, the Cream Stick is a really beautiful product for those that want a camera finish, flawless look. You can also create a really barely there finish with a stick. Who would have thought? So all you need to do is put a little bit on your face, blend it with the kabuki brush, okay, and you can spread that and make it as thin and as light a coverage as you want. Or if you want a really heavy coverage or you want camera finish, I'm going to a wedding coverage, put more on and just keep blending it with the kabuki and you can build it. All of our foundations are buildable. You can also use the loose minerals over the top of this. So when I'm going out or I've got an event or I'm shooting on some set, I will put my medium olive on first for a bit of warmth because I'm quite fair. And then I use the loose minerals over the top and I just get a super flawless finish. So there you can use the 2 together or separately. This foundation type is, however, really great for people who have dry or dehydrated skin because it's got shea butter, jojoba oil, and some beautiful botanical oils in there that emulate the natural sebum in our skin. So what that means is it's able to hydrate the skin, nourish the skin, and not make it look flaky. So if you have dry, dehydrated skin, this is probably the best product for you. You may like to try this with the Day Primer Moisturizer first. And if you feel that you still feel dry or dehydrated, then you can mix the primer, day moisturizer with one of our facial oils, the rosehip oil or the superfood oil. If you're suffering from maybe some acne, you can also mix it with that. So any of our facial oils you can mix with the primer and then place this over the top. If you've got really dry, flaky skin, that will help combat it somewhat. But here's a note. If you do have dry, flaky skin, no foundation is going to cover dry, flaky skin, unfortunately. So you're best off on the days that you have got maybe a dry nose or flaky nose, maybe you've been blowing it, you've had a cold, just try not to put too much foundation in those areas because nothing will hide dry, flaky skin. Dehydrated skin, yes, we can give it a feed with the nutrients that are in this particular product, but it's not going to completely hide dry, flaky skin. So if you do have a dry nose, pop your foundation on and then maybe grab a little bit of primer and just pat it over the dry areas to spread and minimize that foundation coverage a little bit in the area that's dry, and it will therefore take the attention away from that dry skin. Okay, so that's this particular product. It's got 15 grams in there. It's a wind up, okay, and obviously it will last as long as you use it. So if you're really heavy-handed, or if you use it as a light coverage, it's obviously going to last you a lot longer. Okay, so moving on to the liquid foundation. Okay, the liquid foundation is an oil-free liquid foundation. It does suit all skin types, but if you are a more dry or dehydrated skin, it's probably best to go with the stick. You can, however, still use this, but you may like to, again, it's all about what you put underneath it. So if you want to use the liquid, but you have a dry or dehydrated skin, definitely use our primer underneath, but you also may find, okay, no, I still feel like I want more dewiness, so maybe mix a facial oil in with the day primer to give that really dewy, lustrous look to the skin. Okay, so this oil control liquid foundation does have a natural SPF. When we talk about natural SPFs, that's derived from non-nano titanium dioxide, so completely safe to use on the skin as it cannot penetrate into the bloodstream. And we also use zinc oxide. They're the most natural forms of sunscreen, better for the environment as well and our waterways if you're going to the beach. It's not an SPF that I would like to make any claims about, but it is about 6 to 8 plus. So if you're just getting intermittent little bursts of sun, it's just going to protect you from that. Okay, but you do need some sun for vitamin D, otherwise your bones end up brittle. So sun's not completely the enemy, but if you're wanting a little bit of sun protection, the oil control liquid foundation is awesome for that. Now, if you do choose this one, and I do recommend that all foundations you try a sample first. Please don't buy a full-size product. It upsets me because I feel like you're probably ending up with the wrong color anyway, and then it ends up in landfill. So samples, 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 girls. The liquid foundation is an airless pump, so that means that there is no internal dip tube. So when you first start pumping it, you may find that it takes a few pumps to get it to work. That's because the vacuum in here needs to kickstart and eliminate any air bubbles that may be at the top. So give it quite a few pumps. If it's still not working, which is very rare, tap it upside down to get the foundation right to the top. Pump it away, and then it'll start dispensing. The beauty of airless is that we don't need to use yucky parabens and any preservatives that are nasty, okay, because there's no air in there, bacteria can't breed. And what I also love about airless pumps is you get full use of the product as a consumer. You're not gouging around trying to get any excess product that's stuck in there. You get full use of the 30 grams of product that's in there. You'll see the little vacuum start to move up, and I've got one here to show you. So you can see that the vacuum has started to push the product up, so you get full use of it, and you can see there's no internal dip tube. So it's not faulty. Some people say to us, oh, I think it's faulty because I can't see the tube. It's not, it's an airless pump, as is all of our liquid products. Okay, so now if you are someone who's got a really oily complexion, again, you can use the liquid foundation, maybe a preference for you. Again, anybody can use it, but that may be something you want to try. You do apply this with the kabuki brush. I find that because it doesn't have any oils or silicons or any nasties in there, the kabuki brush is the best way to apply that product, as it spreads it, makes it really nice and thin and skin-like rather than thick, because it does dry fairly quickly. Okay, if you do have an oily complexion in particular, the loose minerals are going to be your favorite friend. Okay, the loose minerals will help absorb some of that oil flow a little bit for you as well. It's going to stay on a lot longer, and it's going to look more natural, okay, and not slide off your face halfway through the day, which you don't want. In saying that though, the loose mineral foundations do suit all skin types. I don't care how old you are, how young you are, or what skin type you have, unless you have really dry, peeling off, you've had your face is falling off. There is no reason why you cannot use this, because we do not use any fillers. There's no talc, there's no bismuth oxychloride. There is nothing in our loose minerals that will dry out the skin, clog the skin, or make the skin look matte and aging, I guess. So the loose minerals, if you have an oily skin, again, it's all about what you put underneath it. If you have an oily skin, then I recommend just using our Skin Primer Day Moisturizer as your skin prep. It'll help regulate your oil flow, but it'll also hydrate the skin as well, okay? Then you put your loose minerals on, okay? So you just dispense a small amount into the lid, use your kabuki brush, and buff it on. Now, you can layer this. The Loose Mineral is a foundation in its own right, and that's what I have on today. Just Loose Minerals. This is super flawless, and I promise you, I got this look all from the Loose Minerals, okay? I have a normal combination skin. I love this product simply because it has an SPF of 20 plus. It's a natural sunscreen. I can't stand the feel of those synthetic sunscreens on my skin that congest it, end up getting breakouts from it. It feels disgusting. It's not great for the beaches or the waterways. So I feel better knowing that this is a natural ingredient that's not going to harm waterways. It's not going to harm my skin, but it's also going to give me enough sun protection that I don't have to worry about sun damage, which you can see from using this for 10 years, I don't have any. So if you've got oily skin, just use the skin primer underneath. Buff this on with the kabuki brush, small amounts. If you want a really light tinted moisturizer coverage, you can do that. If you do want a heavier coverage like what I have on today, it's stippling like this. So you're pressing the foundation in. If you buff it in, it spreads it and makes it thinner. If you press it in, you get a heavier coverage out of it. Again, if you want super, super flawless coverage and you want it really quick because you're time poor, you can use this over the top of the cream or the liquid foundation. And then the two foundations together will marry up. They'll work in synergy together and they'll give you flawless camera ready skin.